Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Ryan Show YouTube channel. This is where I'm putting out highlights of the Ryan Show FM, my radio program, interviews, moments, etc., etc. Just last week, I sat down with one of my favorite rappers from when I was a kid. Of course, I'm referring to Bad Boy's own G.Dep. G.Dep just recently served a long prison stint in which he turned himself in. He holds himself accountable for his actions, unlike most people out there. So I figure, you know what? I'm going to bring him on and ask him a little bit about why and see how he's transitioning to this new world with AI and tech and everything else. Also, I had to ask about Diddy, and I did so in a very respectful manner. I don't know what's going on with Diddy. We only know what they tell us. That's how the media works. So it's hard for me to gauge what really happened. I have some very dear friends that have worked with and alongside of Diddy before he was famous and after he was famous, including the co-host of this radio program, Mr. Cheeks. So there might be some sort of bias, but only because Mr. Cheeks never told me anything too crazy about Diddy. Yeah, did he throw some insane parties? Obviously. But I feel after growing up in the Hamptons that I've seen some things, some really wild things. The difference was these were Russian and white bankers, not black entertainers. So call me biased, but I do think there's a little bit more than meets the eye with this whole situation. So why not ask a guy who was a part of Bad Boy himself, G.Dep? So stay tuned and see what G.Dep had to say about the whole situation and how he's doing now that he's outside of prison walls and able to make music for you, the people. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And for more highlights and clips of this program, be sure to subscribe, leave some comments so that we can boost up the algorithm a little bit. It seems that the shorts on my YouTube page are popping. You can look at the shorts and see clips of different shows that we've done, but I need a little bit more incentive to put these long interviews out. So I'm asking you, friends and listeners of the show, to leave some comments and help give me a little bit more incentive for this YouTube channel. Appreciate you guys. Enjoy. And without further ado, G.Dep. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everything in between, welcome back to another edition of the Ryan Show FM. We have left Saigon in Vietnam to come back to the United States of America because the great G.Dep, one of our favorite hip-hop artists of all time, one of my childhood favorites, is here tonight. Free at last. Free at last. One of my favorite MCs is here on the Ryan Show FM. Welcome, G.Dep. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, man. For real, that's a heck of an intro right there.
I wish I could make it a more glorious intro for you, man, because we've been waiting a
Nah, that
long
was
time for this.
glorious
Really,
enough. I
though.
appreciate it. I was gracious. Oh, good. Thanks for having
And
me, though. Real talk, man.
I see you out here making waves already, and the world has changed tremendously since you've been back. I mean, first off, what's it like to be back on the outside?
Man, it's everything is is cracked up to be, man. I was always a big tech head, man. So a lot of this stuff is like right down my alley, man. Or just seeing the thought process and seeing how thought could be transmitted to these gadgets and things of that nature, to see how things are manifesting, it's beautiful.
A lot has changed. There's new genders, there's new
Yeah,
pronouns, and most
yeah, yeah.
important to me, there's new technology. The introduction of AI. Have you messed around with ChatGPT since you've been out?
Yeah, man, that thing is out of this world. You can ask that thing the most illest questions and then give you the answer, man. They might have invented the Sphinx by mistake or something. I don't know what they did. Uh,
Yo, it makes you wonder, like, where the hell did it come from? Okay, so I don't know if you're a conspiracy theorist or how deep it goes into the rabbit hole with you, but I mean, what do you think is going to happen with the emergence of AI? Do you think this is a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, I think it's a good thing, man. I think it's just where humanity was going, man. You know what I mean? I don't think it's no stopping it. I think it's the same thing the planet said when humans, started evolving. They was like, wow, like what are we gonna do about these people? But it's
Yeah,
like, what can you do? It's just the train of thought, man. It's the train of evolution or whatever you want to call it, or how just how things are going, man. In my
there's
opinion.
AI music, AI imagery. There's like, pictures that go viral that don't even really exist. So some people
Right.
might think that's dangerous. I mean, what do you think? You say that it's just gonna happen, right? What's
Yeah.
next? What do you think is next?
I mean, I just think it's like, we got to figure out a way to utilize it. You know what I mean? We got to figure out a way to, to actually coexist with it, coalesce, and all of that stuff, man. I mean, it's just a part of. I think it's just a part of how we gonna operate now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And next, yeah, and it's sky's the limit, man. Not even the sky, the space is the limit now, man.
Maybe even interdimensional at this point.
Interdimensional at this point. You know what I'm saying? We might crack the Da Vinci Code here messing with this thing. Here. We might have
Yeah.
already did. Once we
Who
find
knows? At
out
this point, this could
what's
be a simulation. Like
yeah,
I'll tell
this
you right
this
now,
could
when I
be
was a
it,
kid,
man.
I never thought in my life I'd be sitting down with G.Dep on StreamYard, sitting in the Posnerland mansion, talking to one of my favorite rappers, and it just goes to show where technology
uh,
has gone. So minds are being
that's a
blown,
fact.
including mine.
Wow,
So
man. Look, likewise.
what a trip. And that being said,
Yeah.
a lot's changed. You were unfortunately locked up, and you were there for a long time. First off, I got to ask you, I was locked up for a couple weeks, but not for a long time. What is it that got you through so much trauma and so much craziness that you've probably been through over the past 10 so odd years?
Man. I mean, I think, praise the creator, just understanding that, that time, like anything, it'll pass. You know what I mean? It was like I had to really just realize that, I had to accept where I was at. You know what I mean? Once I did that, time, I just was living. I just lived. You know what I mean? I tried to live like I was in the world. You know what I mean? As much as I could. Aside from my family and females. You know what I mean? And like actual interaction and intimate relationships like that. But even that, you got to kind of try to simulate everything you can. Call, make sure you stay in touch with your family. You know, visits as much as you can, things like that.
How much access to technology and some of these new things did you have, like, FaceTime and things like that when you were locked up?
Well, it was we had about you figure the year 2019 came around. They implemented the JPay, the Securus program, and JPay and all of that. So we were given tablets, so we were kind of familiarized with the technology. I was already I wasn't locked up as long as before the technology began to
Yeah.
turn around. Like I had like an iPhone 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah.
I kind of, Facebook and all of that was just, was getting humongous and like, so I was around for a lot of the budding of a lot of this stuff. So I kind of, understood it, now that I'm home, it's like, it's kind of just advanced, but in there, you kind of, it do kind of prepare you, in a way because they, like I said, they introduce you to the tablets and then you have to get on the kiosks and, you have to learn about the computers. So, they do kind of familiarize you with all this stuff.
That's great. They say sometimes, like, I wouldn't wish on anybody, but it's a way to learn. Like, some people go, I remember I had friends that would get locked up just to get their teeth done, just to stay
Yeah,
warm for the winter. So for what
yeah,
it's worth, you can use it like a tool. It's like I don't know if you've seen Dragon Ball Z, but it's kind of like a hyperbolic time chamber in a sense.
in a way,
What you
in
can
a
learn when
way.
you're in there.
If you land in there, that's not to say to just go in there. You know what I'm
Not
saying?
to
Like, you know
not
what I'm
to
saying?
advocate people to
Don't
go
go
do
knock
it.
on the door like, excuse me, let me in here. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? You can
Yeah,
if you're smart, if you realize if you're aware of what you have, because you'll never have that opportunity again to be able to rest and sleep and learn, without having to pay bills. Like when does that ever happen in a man's life or a woman's life at that? You know? So,
it's like school. It's
except
like
for
elementary
yeah,
school.
it's like being home. Yeah, exactly. Like being home when you're at, it's like except that's what I was gonna say, except for when you're like an adolescent. You know what I mean? But other than that, as an adult, there's nowhere else you can have that opportunity. So if you're smart, you know what I'm saying, you can take advantage of your situation. Not take advantage of it, but make the best of it. You know?
Exactly. Make the best of it. So, what
Yeah.
were your plans when you were on the inside? Like, what were your thoughts? Like, first thing you were going to do when you get out, business wise?
Well, I just thought that I was gonna just my plans were like I had wrote a lot of music, so I was just like I'm gonna just release all I'm gonna just record. You know what I mean? Like that was my whole thing. I just looked at it like if I had the opportunity for people to you know and want to listen, you know what I'm saying? That I would take it. I would just just whatever that entail. You know what I mean? Like I started a label called Black Market, you know, uh, uh, Black Market Group Recordings when I was in there. So I said, okay, yeah, I'm gonna put out all this music. I'm gonna put out my stuff under Black Market, and and that I'm gonna be the premier artist, and maybe I could find other artists. That's just how I
Yeah,
was thinking. Hmm.
that's the way to do it. I mean, now you can be an independent artist for real these days and make some
Yeah.
serious traction. It's almost like why even sign to a big label? You were signed to one of the biggest labels in history,
Mhm.
and now you can actually have everything in your hands and your control, and it's all about what you do with it. So
Exactly. At the end of the day, yeah.
the Ryan Show FM and all things Ryan Verneuille are brought to you by the greatest cleaning company in the New York City and Long Island area, La Liaison. La Liaison Cleaning is a premier commercial and residential cleaning company proudly serving the diverse regions from New York City all the way out to the Hamptons. Not only does La Liaison deep clean using the best materials possible, organic materials if requested, but what sets them apart is their unique specialization in energy cleaning and removal. The folks at La Liaison focus on enhancing the feng shui of every space that they touch. Their dedicated team employs advanced techniques to clear stagnant energy and create a harmonious environment, ensuring that both your home or workplace are not only spotless, but also revitalized and balanced. Whether you're looking for a thorough cleaning or a transformative energy refresh, La Liaison Cleaning delivers exceptional service tailored to your needs. Book them today online and see for yourself why you need La Liaison in your life. Look no further for a cleaning company. Go to La Liaison's website, laliaisonllc.com. That's LALIAISONLLC.com. And that was one of the greatest hip hop songs of all time, Special Delivery, featuring one of my best friends in the world, Keith Murray, and of course, a song by G.Dep. G.Dep, I got to ask you, what was my brother Keith Murray like back in the 90s?
Yeah, he always been a wild boy, man. Great guy, stand up dude, He ain't changed, man. I ran into him since I've been home, man. He ain't skip a beat, man.
One of the true underrated MCs, much like yourself out there. And I'll say it, he's a
Yeah,
damn
for
genius.
sure.
It seems
Yeah,
that the people that
he's
are the most
definitely a
troubled,
quiet genius.
whoever it is, they seem to have the most genius in them. At least that's what I find in life.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I could say I agree, man. I think the genius itself is the troubling thing,
How do you cope with it?
So
How
it's
do you cope with when your brain's working that fast? Like you yourself, your brain's working at a different speed to be able to write the lyrics that you're writing, create the music that you're creating. How do you cope with it?
I I just try to make sure I get it out. You know what I mean? Make sure I have an outlet. You put yourself in a position to, the creator puts you in a position to make sure that you can get those things done, and you have to take the opportunity to, get it out. Any opportunity that you get to to uh to express it.
Did you always know this, or is this something that you picked up on later in life to have that type of
Yeah,
awareness?
it definitely was something that I picked up on. Because I used to be hesitant a lot, or shy about something, or and then I realized that this is a gift that you've been given, so it's like how could you will be remiss if you don't share it,
For sure. What advice would you give your younger self if you could speak to your younger self right now?
or just say, man, don't be afraid to be an individual, You know, you know how everything is so drastic and important, and you know, in the moment when you're young, and you don't really think. And I will also tell myself to think think about think about the future a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that was one thing I didn't do. I didn't really think about the future. I really didn't. I felt like every day was my last. Every day this could be it. You know what I mean? So that's not really a good way to live.
No, it's definitely not. So while
Yeah.
we're back in the 90s, you were one of the top dogs over at Bad Boy. I mean, what was it like to be a part of that movement back then?
Well, it was great, man. It was great because you were able to get your thoughts on a in your songs on a bigger platform. You know what I mean? You knew that if you had good music that people were gonna hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that was the best part about being on Bad Boy. You realize that you had it. If you had it, they was gonna get it. You know what I mean? So that was like the best thing about being on that label.
We hear nothing but negativity at this point about Diddy. Can we hear something positive? I mean, what was probably the most positive experience that you've had working under Diddy back in the 90s?
Oh man, I had a lot of positive experiences with the brother, man. He was nothing but positive. Like he didn't like negative energy. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you were negative around him, he wouldn't like want you around. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, I hear the stuff and I'm just like, I didn't see that. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, so I would have to say my experience with him was positive. You know what I mean? We made music, we had fun, we traveled,
Yeah, I look. I grew up in the
or
Hamptons, so I never been to one of these Diddy parties, but I know people that were there, and I never heard anything crazy at all. I just saw that it looked like the
that,
craziest, most wild ass parties in the world. So for you to say that is a
hey,
testament in itself. Do you think that there's maybe a conspiracy going on? Because I read that a lot now
yeah,
online, or some type of bigger attack on
yeah,
this guy's character. They're just trying to bring him down for whatever reason.
yeah. I don't know. It seems to me like that. It does seem like that, like I know it sounds like conspiring or like conspiracy theory type of stuff, but it seems like that. Like it's like or like it seems like if somebody's like kind of like puppeteering that whole thing. It seems like.
I mean, just the way that there's these orchestrated attacks on people, no matter who it is that gets canceled.
Yeah.
It seems that the media can just absolutely tear you down and villainize you. Even like
Right.
there's a saying when you go to a court of law, you're innocent before being proven guilty. But now you don't even stand a chance. If there's
Right.
3,000 allegations made against somebody, it's pretty obvious some of them have to be fake. And I'm not standing up for any of these things. Like, yeah, there's been some videos that surfaced, but for what it's worth, people deserve to be. You need to hear what they have to say, and now you got no shot
Exactly.
whatsoever. So it just to me doesn't seem very fair.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely different. It's different now. You know what I mean? The way people can get canceled and like before they even cancel. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's very bad. You know. And I mean, what does that
Yeah.
what can that say about about justice? Like, the justice system if dudes are just taking it upon themselves to like lynch or just vilify, like you said, somebody, man.
And people were throwing way crazier parties than that. Let's be honest. I hear about
Right,
some of the
right. That's what I'm
freakiest,
saying.
craziest things that have gone down. I've heard about sex castles in the Hamptons, but you know what the
This
difference
is what
was?
I'm talking about, man.
I hate to make this about race, but they weren't black people. They were white people
Hmm.
that own these sex castles.
Wow,
So,
that's crazy.
I see this and I can't help but think that, and I'm not trying to race bait. I'm a white guy, but it just seems a little bit odd to me as well. So now that being said, you're not with Bad Boy. You're all on your own making music out here. What do we have to look forward to as fans that are ready to hear some more of your music?
I mean, all we right now you can check out the YouTube. Everything is at G.Dep official. You know what I mean? The YouTube, the Twitter, the Instagram. You know what I'm saying? The TikTok. It's all at G.Dep official. You know what I mean? So you can just, if you check for that, all the music streaming platforms, anytime you check for G Dep, you'll see the new music. You know what I'm saying? We got an album, a project coming out called Lessons Never Losses that'll be out in November. And then we kind of got another project that's coming out, an album coming out after that called uh, uh, Off the Count, excuse me, and that's kind of talking about the whole situation of me being locked up, and it's a whole full album, kind of chronicling the whole situation, when I turned myself into when I came home, so that album will be out, at the end of the year, tentatively, but that's what we're looking at. So the Lessons Never Lost is to be out in November, beginning of November, early, and then we have a book called The Memoirs of a Credible Messenger, the Travell G. Dep Coleman story. All of this you can check for, and keep, you'll be up to speed if you check out those platforms I mentioned.
So
You know
we
what I'm
will
saying?
definitely go
So
to the YouTube. It's more
yeah,
than music now, G-Dep. I want to see the
copy.
comeback. I want to see you document what's going on. I want to see the
Right,
TikTok. I want to see the come up back to where you were. Because one thing that always stands out is that you turned yourself in, and that is a
right,
redemption story in itself. Most people have no
right.
accountability. Most people do not want to admit when they did something wrong. What is it that actually prompted you to do that?
Well, it was like I tell people, man, it was the spirit, man. It wasn't a mind thing. It wasn't a heart thing. People say, "Yo, man, you had a lot of heart to do that, man." It wasn't something that I thought about, because the mind would tell you, listen, go that way, and do not do that. You know what I'm saying? But it was the spirit. It was something that I couldn't argue with. I couldn't, go against. You know what I mean?
It's
It
a
was
beautiful
something
thing.
that I had to do.
My chick is very spiritual, and sometimes, she says she's a witch, and I believe it. She's Jamaican, and I truly believe that
Uh-huh.
she is. And it's almost like sometimes she says that information gets uploaded to her, and to her, that's almost like that in itself is spiritual. We, kind of bring it full circle here. We are talking about AI a little bit. I mean, and it just shows that maybe there is something else out there that we can't see. So that's a beautiful thing that you tell me that it was
Mm.
your spirit that led you to make that decision.
Wow. Well, yeah, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, you got to believe in something bigger than yourself. And that to me is proof right there that G.Dep, you are a great man. And I'm rooting for you. And like I said,
Likewise.
I really hope to see
Appreciate you.
the behind the scenes of what you're doing right now, because like the content and the stuff that you put out there is almost just as important as the music now. Is there a chance that we're going to see like a vlog or some of these behind the
Yeah,
scene
we actually
experiences?
Yeah, we actually have a vlog that we do, maybe twice a month. We try to wait until we get a nice, amount of footage and, things. I got my meta glasses. I tape things that I see and what I'm going through. So, we got 2 episodes out right now because we just kind of sort of doing that really, you know what I mean? Like we were chronicling a lot of the things that we were doing, but it wasn't official. Like we were just putting things out here and there. But now we have a vlog where you can kind of just see, whole put together collages, little 4 or 5 minute little things, you know what I'm saying? So
Wow.
it's 2 episodes up right now on the YouTube.
And you said that you're filming them with the meta goggles, with the glasses?
Yeah, the meta goggles. Yes, I mean it's mixed footage. Like some of it is meta goggles, some of it is regular footage from the phone. But a lot of it is just personal footage.
That is awesome. And to
Yeah.
think that it was a reptilian that created meta. Spectacular.
Wow.
Shouts to
Wow.
Zuckerberg.
Shout out to Zuckerberg, man.
Right? You wonder where the hell this stuff comes from. Has to be outer space. AI has to be outer space or interdimensional, like we said earlier. What a trip. All right, G-Dep, I don't want to hold you up, man. You're a busy man. You got a lot going on. I truly appreciate you calling in tonight, man. And I bet
So
that the
good.
future will bring us together again. Thank you, G-Dep.
I know it will. I know it will. Creator willing. Thank you, man. And I enjoy your show. We're gonna get back up.
Absolutely. Everybody go follow G-Dep. Check out that YouTube channel. This is The Ryan Show FM featuring legends only. And we shall return. Don't go nowhere.